We are recording.
So mate, CrossFit Games.
Talk to me.
Yeah, well, what a weekend, you know, it was, I mean, I didn't watch all of it live, but Sunday I just kind of caught up on most of it, and wow, what could we say, a few surprise, well, some non-surprises, of course, tier one, we all kind of expected that if you're in
I
the
think
know.
from my point of view, obviously tier winning wasn't a surprise, but the female podium surprised me.
Very much so.
Massively so. Not tier obviously being on it, but I didn't think Laura Hovarth would come anywhere near the podium.
Well, we did the predictions the week before, didn't we?
Yeah, none of us said Laura or Annie.
Yeah.
And I think, because Laura had that year where she came on the scene and I think she finished second.
2018.
But then I don't know if she had an injury, and then she really struggled with certain movements.
Yeah, she got exposed a lot.
Yeah,
not even at the games.
She wasn't even getting to the games.
Yeah, it's just that like sanctionals and things. You could see that there were like weaknesses, like handstand push-ups being one of them.
Like glaring weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
But she did superb, man. Like on average, her finishes were really good. Like she wasn't necessarily like excelling in events. I'm not sure whether she won one actually, but you know, she was like kind of top 10 pretty much the whole way.
Mm-hmm.
So for her to come second was impressive from kind of out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. And Annie, mate, a year after having a baby, like
it's inspirational, man, for anyone.
Yeah.
Like, in my opinion, like pregnancy is like one of the biggest traumas a woman can kind of go through.
Yeah.
You know, your body changes so much, and to be able to come back and and podium, let alone just to compete at the games.
Yeah,
you know,
just
amazing.
to get to the games was super impressive.
Yeah. I'm sure for her, she was just happy to be there. You know, like I think I saw a couple of days ago. They did they always do interviews at the end of each day.
Yeah.
And she was being interviewed, like I think she was with Tia, Pat Vellner and Fikowski, and she got asked like, you know, what were your expectations like coming in?
Yeah.
And she was like, this is the first year that I just had like zero expectations of where I wanted to be. I was just coming in just for the experience.
Yeah.
So, and obviously at that point she was in contention to finish third. So she was going. I think they were going into the last day.
Yeah.
With it. So like, you know,
it's between her and Kristen Holt.
Kristen Holt.
Yeah.
We'll get onto her as well. You know,
Yeah.
like, because I don't know if you've seen, she's announced her retirement.
Oh, has she?
Yeah, just I don't know when she posted it, but I saw it yesterday.
Yeah.
On Instagram.
Okay.
And yeah, it's like,
I mean, I like. So you know, if you look at the female top 5, the only people I put there were Hayley and Tia, and I put Hayley Adams on the podium in my predictions. I think Hayley come 5th.
yes, yeah.
Kristen Holt, Annie, and Laura. I just didn't think we'd get anywhere near it. Kristen Holt's always been good. She's always done relatively well, but I mean,
I put her in my top 3. I thought she would.
Did you put her in?
Yeah, I put. So did you?
Oh, did I?
Yeah, you said you were like, I agree. You didn't necessarily. You didn't say.
I think I might. Right. Okay.
Yeah, but we put them in the top 3.
Maybe I did then. I probably did.
What's your back, man? What's your back?
But I mean, she's been pretty consistent in the years she's competed, and she has podiumed before.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, fair play. I mean, I expected Hayley to get on the podium, but
I think, there was a few highlighted weaknesses for her. Like
it was just the strength.
Stuff. Yeah.
I think as well, like what probably didn't help was that clean event with the sprint with the running. It was 2 separate events where it had like the moderately heavy barbell, and she managed to complete it, but she came at 25th. Mm-hmm. And then you went into the next one, which started on a heavier barbell, finished super heavy.
Yeah.
And like she was obviously not, because she did poorly in the first one with slightly lighter weight. She obviously wasn't going to do very well in the second one. Mm-hmm. So for 2 scored events, I think she come at 25th in the first one, but then she come dead last in the.
Did she get capped?
She couldn't lift the first weight.
Okay.
But even, I mean, to be fair, even Katrin was struggling to lift the first weight. It took her a few attempts to do it.
Yeah, well, Katrin's not been known either to be super strong.
Lifter,
yeah, like, you know, she's just
workhorse. Which Hayley's similar in a way, but up until that point. So that was the Friday night, I think, and then obviously, because I remember I was messaging you, like Hayley was storming it, like almost like comfortably in second, up until that point, and then that came up those two came in. I think it dropped her to 4th, and then she had another bad one on something else. I can't remember. And then she dropped to 7th at one point.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
But then obviously kind of clawed it back to come 5th, which is still a cracking result. I think you can get a bit like you compare her to last year, and she come 4th, and you're like, oh, you know, obviously you'd like to, for her, I'm sure she would like to see an improvement and podium. But the competition's loads different this year. Like last year, because she qualified for that the live event, the worst she could have come was 5th. So for her to come 4th is impressive, but I almost feel like her coming 5th this year is more impressive because the field's deeper.
Well,
you know, you can get like, you know, last year she couldn't have got a 25th place finish in a clean event. The worst she would have got is a 5th.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? So I'm sure she's going to be super disappointed, but I actually think her coming 5th this year is a bigger achievement than her coming 4th last year, as weird as it sounds.
Yeah.
And also as well, I know for the very best, the events don't matter, but I would say the events didn't really play to her kind of strength.
Yeah.
I mean, within those first few days, you obviously had that heavy thruster one into the wall walks, which was a bit of damage limitation for her, but she still came, I think she came top 15 in that.
Yeah.
And then those 2 clean events, and then the snatch event the next day. Like, so that's 4 out of
that yoke event.
That yoke, I'm not sure how she did.
I'm not sure how she did in that one, but like it was heavy.
Yeah. But for like 4 of those events to kind of be, you know, I suppose completely out of her wheelhouse, for her to come 5th is super impressive in my opinion.
For sure. Yeah. Who else can we talk about?
I mean, Mario O'Brien.
Yes.
Come 7th.
I think like for her, like a highlight for me was her beating Tia in that thruster workout, because if you needed, as a rookie, if you needed any kind of affirmation that like I belong here, you know, like you go and beat the champ in a workout. Like not many people anyways can say they've beaten Tia in a workout.
No one else came near.
Yeah, exactly. You know?
What was impressive about that workout, that first set of thrusters, we've spoken about this. 10 down to 1.
Yeah.
Wall walks into thrusters. The ladies' weight was
60 kilos.
Yeah. And she did the 10 on broken. And for the last 3 reps, this is just the first set. The last 3 reps, she was kind of grinding it out. And the commentator was like, no, don't do that. You know, you should be putting the bar down. You should be breaking them up. But like, you know, that's going to come back to bite you in the ass. And those comments come back to bite him in the ass, really, because he got that wrong.
You got that wrong.
They get a lot wrong, those commentators. But she smashed it. To go on broken, no one else went on broken, male or female.
Yeah, she should. I mean, we saw it at the Granite Games. She kind of just has this gear. She just goes. And she can just grind it out.
And also, she can grind it out when she looks uncomfortable. Because I remember at the Granite Games, she won an event, and it was the kettlebell or dumbbell thruster into
the dumbbell thruster. Yeah.
And she didn't look comfortable thrustering. Do you know what I mean? Like, because it was quite a relatively heavy weight. You know, but you're looking at a thruster. If you looked at anyone else, you'd be like, oh, you're not going to do that on broken. You're going to break at some point. And she just smashed it and managed to win that event. And it was similar to that one, the 10 down to 1.
Yeah,
she did really well.
Because what she was doing, that I don't know if other female athletes didn't think to do it or they couldn't do it. Like she'd rest at the top.
Yeah.
So she'd do like 8 thrusters and she'd just like take a second or two to breathe, and then go again. And like on the face of it, it kind of looks like it looks like a risky move, but like, you know,
it paid off.
Pulled out. Yeah.
What about anyone else on the female side you want to talk about?
On the female side, Emma Carey. I think she came 16th.
Yeah, which again, she's only 17.
She's only 17, but like I believe she'll do big things.
I think so.
She'll come back stronger.
I feel for Brooke Wells.
Dislocated her elbow. What happened to? Was it Danny Spiegel? Because there was quite a few medical pullouts.
She didn't make the cut, the first cut, because on the what workout was it? I think one of the workouts she was limping really bad. It might have been that running clean one.
Right.
I think she might have injured herself before it, so I don't even think she made the top 30. If she did, she didn't make the next one, just because she pulled out due to that, I think. She was in clear. Cara Saunders had to pull out because of illness. Obviously, she'd had COVID the 2 weeks leading up to it. she just was suffering, like really struggling. I think she put something on her Instagram, like it was like doing it with one lung or something like that.
Yeah, it's just like operating like 10% like lung capacity, and
she was struggling on events that she would traditionally do
well at.
Yeah.
I remember after day one, I was like, that's not right. You know where she is. Then I think her husband put out a post, and I was like, okay, this makes sense now. You know, like. But I think
there's quite a few medical products. I was gutted for Brooke Wells because she was doing quite well. It was probably her best showing from last year, her best showing in an event. And to do that, or to do that with snatch, I hate seeing that injury. It's horrible, or anything involving a snatch. But I think the weight was 190 pounds, which is heavy, but I think that's like quite within her wheelhouse in terms of her max lift. So it wasn't like she was trying for a PB or anything. I wonder if she'd hurt herself before that event. Because her elbow was strapped up.
It was just the last straw basically, like that exertion. You know, I don't know.
See, Tia's going for 6.
So she's competing again?
Yeah, she's competing next year.
Wow. Put everyone on notice then.
So on the male side, man,
I didn't see this. I didn't see it coming.
I put Medeiros down to win.
You did.
So I'm happy with that. We both put BKG in the top 3. He came 4th.
He came 4th.
And I think we put Velner in. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, I can't remember.
But I mean, I didn't see Fikowski coming 3rd.
I didn't. I wasn't even watching him. You know, coming into it.
But like he does do traditionally better at the games. He always seems to struggle in like the Open or even the kind of sanctional semi-final events.
He said that he struggles with online competition. I think he's someone who shines
in that games environment. But so I mean, Medeiros came 1st, which was brilliant. Velner came 2nd, and Fikowski came 3rd. Mate, on Medeiros, so consistent. Like Bing was saying, not yesterday, the day before, like he was super impressed with just like he didn't have a bad finish. I think he might have only had one outside the top 10, and the rest were just like solid, really good finishes.
You know, top 6, you know, top 4, you know, just and it's really easy to kind of go under the radar, if that makes sense.
Not necessarily stand. I think the only event he won was the last event. That's the only event he won. Because I think as well, like he didn't do what Fraser done, where he blows it away.
Yeah, he just wins event, wins another event.
And like Fraser would win the games with a day left or something like that. Medeiros had to perform on that last day because Velner was still close. I think Velner finished within 50 points of him towards the end. So it was all close, but he's the youngest games winner ever. 22. And like his ceiling's massive, man, because he's just got that, like he's not necessarily excelling at everything, he's just doing well at everything. And I think when you look at someone and you compare him to other people who have major strengths but gaping holes in their game, you're like, oh, this guy could go far. I mean, I don't know whether he'll dominate like Fronin or Fraser, because you know I feel like the field is got to get more competitive. But oh man, like I was super impressed.
It's like it's actually like how competitive the men's field was this year. Looking at it, it was tight, man. It's testament to like how dominant Fraser was. You take him out of the equation, and now all of a sudden it's just kind of like, whoa, shit.
I think as well, like I don't know whether like we got a bit of a warped view of it, because like the men's field might have always been competitive, but it was competing for 2nd and below. So like that kind of like 2 down to 10 maybe always have been there, and it's always really competitive and always really close. But Fraser just ran away with it. Now you took Fraser out of the mix, and it's like, you know, first place up for grabs, all the way
that's a good way of looking at it.
But I mean, like I felt like it was super competitive games for the lads. It was a hell of a lot more exciting, and I enjoyed watching Fraser because he's such an impressive athlete. But it was nice the fact that it went into the last event. You know, first place was up for grabs, 2nd place was up for grabs, 3rd, you know, Fikowski didn't have that nailed on. Obviously BKG came 4th. I can't remember who came 5th. I think Spencer Panchik.
Yeah, it might have been Spencer Panchik. And that, I mean,
that's
I didn't have him.
Well, everyone. Well, I think we might have both said we expected Scott Panchik, his brother, to do well. I think he picked up a bit of an injury because he was limping in some events.
Yeah, he did.
Especially
he did pick up an injury. I think it's a knee injury.
But I mean, did any of those kind of top 5 surprise you other than Fikowski?
Obviously Spencer Panchik surprised me, but Apart from that, no. I mean, like I had a feeling BKG would be up there because he's always been quite consistent.
Yeah.
I'm quite pleased. I'm actually quite pleased that Pat Bellman finished second.
Yeah, because I mean, I know he's been on the podium before, but he got robbed of the podium because of Ricky Garrard.
Oh yeah.
Because I think I remember because Vakowski came second that year, and Ricky Garrard came third, or it might have been the other way around. But then Vellner missed out on the podium, and I think I know it sounds like it's maybe a bit cheesy, but the fact they both got to stood on the podium together when that was taken away from them.
Yeah.
In 2017.
Yeah, it's quite symbolic.
I thought that was quite symbolic. Also, you know, there's only one American on the podium. Male and female. It wasn't any female American podium.
No.
On American. So, like, I think it does show that it's becoming truly an international sport, and I think they need to kind of open it out more space-wise. But yeah, I mean, like, I tell you who I found super impressive on the men's side, that brilliant Brazilian lad.
Yes, of course. Yeah. I can't remember his name, but
like that,
yeah.
But fucking his snatching, mate.
What an emergence! Like,
yeah, textbook.
Like, I still haven't seen it, but I know that he snatched what 305.
305.
So what's that in kilos?
Fuck knows, like what
140 something? No.
Yeah, I think like 141 or something like that.
Especially when the snatch event came up. They've done all this volume.
3 days of work.
Yeah, usually like in recent years the snatch events have come up like earlier. So like, you know, you'd assume they've still got something in the tank. Yeah. So it's just testament to how fit they are. I guess in layman's terms.
He was impressive. He also won the sprint clean one as well. I think he might have won both.
And the running event
and the 550 meter sprint.
So he's obviously got a wheelhouse there.
4 wins. That's impressive. That I think he come like 7th, between 7th and 10th. I can't remember off the top of my head, but he won most improved. Anything surprise you on the men's side?
To be honest, I know more about the women than the men's in terms of like placings. No, I guess Noah. I guess he came in with high expectations. There was an expectation of him. Yeah. And
I don't know what it is with Noah, man. Like, he's fucking clearly really good. He smashes the Open. He smashes like sanctionals and semi-finals of it. But comes to the games, it's like he's a bit. I don't know. It just. Know where the pressure gets to him or something like that. Like he had that year where he comes second behind Fraser, and Fraser actually really worked to win. But kind of even last year, like he didn't even podium, and it was just like.
Was that? I mean, like, could we say was that second place finish like the peak for him? You know,
maybe.
I don't know. Well,
or is there a little bit of complacency because Fraser's not there? Like, because he was like dubbed as kind of. It was always dubbed as between him and Fraser, right?
But they both burst onto the scene at the same time.
Yeah. And I sometimes wonder that whether Fraser retiring, I wonder if he thought, well, it's mine to lose subconsciously. I don't know whether he would obviously never admit that, but whether a bit of complacency snuck in, and you didn't expect these people to come out of nowhere, like Medeiros, like this Brazilian lad, Vakowski, like even Spencer Hanchek, and all these people that finished in front of him. Probably just didn't envisage that. He probably thought. Oh yeah, I'm not saying probably, but I kind of feel like he thought that his biggest obstacle, or the thing he's seen as his biggest obstacle, was Fraser, and that was now out of the equation. And I just wonder if a little bit of complacency snuck in. Yeah, I expected Travis Mayer to do better based on his Open quarter-final and semi-final performance.
That's true. Yeah.
I think for me, one of the biggest surprises was Jason Hopper.
We've spoken about him outside the podcast. Yeah.
I actually think he. 2 things. I think he peaked at the MAC, that competition he did, where he just fucking wiped the floor with everyone, including Medeiros. I mean, there was WODs where like Hopper at the end was like celebrating, and Medeiros, who finished second, was on his back dead, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, this guy's seriously good." But like, he just died at the games. Even the events you expected him to do well on, which was similar to those kind of more regional style events, he didn't do well on. Like he really struggled. I don't know whether it was. Felt a bit. I don't. It doesn't seem like the kind of guy who felt a bit of pressure, but I don't think he necessarily trained. So he obviously trained really well at CrossFit, did really well, got through the semi-final event, but maybe he didn't then alter his training to the game style. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, as we all know, traditionally, like the games is a different beast, a different animal, and you'll have things thrown at you that other comps simply can't throw at you just because of
I mean, the first event was
infrastructure.
a mile swim into a 3 mile kayak.
Well, yeah.
Like, you wouldn't see that at another event.
You know, things like the pig. You know, you won't see them at other comps.
Yeah.
That's why the games is the games.
Yeah.
They can just throw anything at you, and yeah, maybe he just wasn't physically prepared for those things.
Did you see him on that ski toes to bar? I think it was toes to bar. No, it wasn't. It was ski. Rope climb. Yeah, ski, rope climb, and like sandbag carry. It was like strong.
I know the work. I didn't watch it, but I know the workout.
You should see him at the end. Like, he's just dropping the sandbag, falling on his sandbag.
Really?
Just dying. Yeah, like you look. No one else did that. Like, but he started out like a fucking lizard on speed. Like, he was in first place, and then just crumbled and come close to last in that heat.
Funny you mentioned that workout, because I remember I watched the briefing of that workout in Boz, and like loads of athletes were asking about the sandbag.
Yeah.
And like he said, he basically hinted like the sandbag's the least of your worries in this workout.
Oh,
kind
really?
Of thing. So maybe obviously in testing they've seen where the limitations
well,
were.
I don't think it was like watching it. I watched both male heats do that, and I watched the top female heat do it. There was no one was failing anything. Do you know what I mean? It was just the work capacity thing. Like, people were just dying out. Like, no one would say like failing rope climbs. Not at that level, because it was like the top. By that point, it was the top 30, and like, so no one was failing rope climbs. The ski's a ski, and the sandbag was like, for them, it wasn't stupidly heavy. They were all moving it really well. But Hopper in his last round was like picking up the sandbag and just like dropping it and falling on top of it, and it's trying to pick it up again. He was just dying. But it was like he was looking. It was like you were looking at him thinking, Jesus, he's like a shadow of that guy we've seen at that semi-final. But for me, that was probably the biggest surprise. Him. I'm not saying I thought he would win it. I always thought Medeiros would win it. I just felt like his CrossFit ability was too good. But I thought he would do a lot better than that.
Yeah. Well, I guess we spoke about it, not summarised, but like we are seeing like the emergence of people with Medeiros. We've got Emma Carey, Mallory O'Brien, Hayley Adams. We're seeing those generations of athletes that have been doing CrossFit from a young age. Like, I've done it since I was like 9.
Yeah.
Or something
Well, mate,
like that,
there was someone posted a picture up of Mallory O'Brien like swinging a kettlebell when she was a 7. Like, just like look like in the same CrossFit, in a CrossFit gym, and it's like, fucking hell. And so it's basically 10 years of doing CrossFit through all her kind of like, you know, going through puberty and doing that, like all that athletic development she's going to get from maturing into an adult. She's been doing CrossFit, and it's just like, it's going to be so interesting to see, like we chatted last week with Ash, whether these people are gonna who've been doing CrossFit the whole time are gonna excel, or whether these people who come from a different sport and then
sport
transition.
Well, especially as the sport gets more lucrative, which I believe it will in time, and then other people from other backgrounds who are like maybe not they weren't at the top of their sport, they didn't make it to the elite, but they were like just below. Might think, I might have a little bite of CrossFit.
Yeah, definitely.
And we'll see how they do. You know? But it's not over yet, mate. We've got the Rogue Invitational.
When is that?
I want to say it's in like October time.
Oh, really?
So like I think it's quite cool to have like quite a major comp that's like out season.
Yeah.
So
it gives them a chance to win some money as well.
Yeah, I think the prize purse is like $1 million, something like that. So like I don't know how that's going to be spread out, but
I'd imagine the field is going to be slightly smaller as well.
Well, like, it's an invitational, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, you know,
it'd be interesting to see. You know, if the likes of Dubai and that happen again. I know obviously COVID's still around, and like that's going to affect things like travel and such, like stuff like that. But obviously we had, prior to the semi-finals, a very kind of stacked sanctional calendar, and there was loads of events. And I'm sure these events, whether they're part of the kind of official CrossFit infrastructure or not, would still like to kind of run, because Dubai were giving out mad money. It was like 30 grand to win.
For one event, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then it was like 100 grand, like it was like 100 grand to win or something. It was something crazy like that. And like at that time, 3 or 4 years ago, for a CrossFit event, that is huge. You weren't seeing money anywhere else. I mean, even the games, like the prize package for winning is massive, but you weren't getting that kind of money like across the board. Do you know what I mean? I think someone put something that like, no matter where you finished in that Dubai one, you weren't out of pocket or something like that. So even last place got like $3,000 or something like that, so that you could cover your expenses, and which is quality. And in order for the sport to truly grow,
yeah,
I think it needs to do stuff like that.
And I think we saw a post from Cara Saunders. She was like paying $20,000 just to get there and back,
which sucks that she went through what she went through, man. Paying $20,000 for plane tickets, probably I bet a games ticket to actually compete is probably £500. And then obviously hotel, quarantine, all that stuff, to go through all of that and then get COVID, and that sucks, man. That's a bit of a gut wrencher.
But for the sport, in my opinion, in order for the sport to grow, athletes shouldn't be paying that out. You
shouldn't pay to go to a competition.
You shouldn't be paying to go.
I mean, you probably pay for travel, but you shouldn't be paying an entry fee for
entry fee. I don't know if they pay their hotel fees. I'm
sure. Yeah, I mean they'll do that. I mean that's not unusual. Like in golf, you'll pay for your flights and accommodation and stuff like that, but you won't be paying to play the event. And then obviously, but the prize purse is so much bigger. I mean, you've got some low-level European tour events that Eddie plays on, which are happening every week, literally every week, and then the prize purse for a winner is like $400,000, and that's just every week, every competition. And then obviously in some of the Rolex Series events, it's like 1.5 million to win, and these are multiple times in the year. And CrossFit's got one event where the winner gets $310,000 or something like that, dollars as well. They need to up that, and they must be able to, because the amount of money. I mean, hopefully they're seeing the sport of CrossFit as kind of almost like a separate entity to the kind of the CrossFit as a lifestyle methodology.
Yeah.
Because the amount of money that gets pumped in to that ecosystem through the Open. I mean, if you've got 200,000 people paying to go in the Open, paying $20 a pop, it's fucking mad.
Yeah.
And then you've got the quarterfinals, which was the top 10%, and that was another like $50 to take part in an online event. And then you've got the semi-final events, which people, I'm guessing, are doing themselves. Like CrossFit, I think they were helping with a prize purse, but they wouldn't be paying like they were paying to run a regional event back in the day.
Yeah.
So obviously we don't know their income, but you would like to think that at least at the games they could ramp up that prize money kind of thing.
Especially going down as well, because there's obviously first there's 300 and whatever grand.
Disparity
then going down is just whoa.
Well, yeah, because I think it goes to 150 for second, and then 80 for third.
Yeah,
it's quite a big drop.
It's quite a big drop, man.
So I would like to see that more, because it will draw in more athletes for one, and but hopefully having more events like Dubai one, the Rogue Invitational, will give those athletes a chance to earn some money. Good. So, but what are your overall kind of thoughts on the games? Are you happy with it? It was nice to see it back in.
Yeah, I mean, it was just nice to see it in its entirety again. Obviously with the year that we've had with COVID and whatnot, it was refreshing. I think you said at the time you hadn't really thought about the games, but then once it was there, you were just kind of shit,
exactly.
This is exciting.
I was made up with it. It almost kind of felt like a bit of a celebration. At the end, when Annie was crying and really emotional, I think the whole thing got really emotional for everyone, because it was shit. They'd gone through all of this COVID situation. Basically, didn't have a games last year. They had obviously the kind of the smaller version of it. And it was almost like getting over it, or light at the end of the tunnel kind of thing.
Yeah.
We've got the new ownership now, which seems legit. He seems like he's really keen on it.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm with that.
Yeah, he'll be keen to know. I mean, I don't know if he'll do an interview soon, but just what his vision for what's his 5-year plan or whatever.
Yeah. Where he sees it. I mean, I think he sees the. I've listened to quite a few interviews where he talks about the games, and I think he sees the potential in the games as massive. So hopefully, because I think I almost give Castro a bit of a free reign over it, and just say, right, here's your budget. Let's just make this the fucking best thing in the world. Employ who you need to employ to make it amazing, and it could be huge. So speaking of competitions, man. You're in a competition.
Wow,
the 21st of August.
Yes.
So you and Hugo so far. I tagged James in it.
I spoke to him. Yeah, he said that he said he was up for it.
Fucking right.
He come in on Tuesday, and I said, "Oh, rumor has it that you're
in my team."
In my team. So he was like, "Yeah, I'm down."
That's decent, mate.
Yeah, it will be.
Top
I'm
three.
nervous.
Top three.
Top 3. I don't know about that. Like we'll just see what happens. Like
I think we should heap some pressure.
We're competing against what you got.
Matty.
Is Matty doing it? Isn't he?
Matty's doing Nicola and Grace.
Okay.
We've got Kirsten, Kelly, Lisa.
Yeah, cheers, Lisa. Yeah, she
got
got a better offer, didn't she?
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, it looks like we could have between 12 and 15 teams of 3, which would be quality for a members throwdown.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to seeing you crumble a bit. To be honest, like especially with Hugo, I'm going to put a rowing workout in there. And just
are you programming it? Are you?
Me and Bing are.
You are, okay. Yeah.
So
well, yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? You know, like I just turn up and do the best I can. You know, like
that's way, mate.
Yeah.
The training's going well.
Yeah, it's going well. I said on the last podcast that I hurt my wrist, but it's healing up. That I can do stuff.
Yeah,
you know? Like I'm pretty sure it'll be fine by the time the comp comes along. So bring it on, mate.
Sweet, man. Call it that.
Sweet.